Very good afternoon, all. Welcome back again for the afternoon session of day 2. So we have the same invited speaker in the morning, Dr. Venkat Reddy, who shared you the theoretical fundamentals behind obtaining the circular polarization. And depending on the strength, let us see if the strength is low. I think you can wind up with one example. If the accumulation of the strength is higher, probably it's afternoon time, and also my own colleagues are also engaged with lot many activities here. So they told that
no problem, sir. I will continue with the 2 examples.
Yeah, try your best. Try your best in your timelines.
Whether it is 1 participant or 2 participants, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Go ahead. I hand over to you, Venkat.
So please.
One moment. It's for Venkat. Should I give it? Access is to be given
to Venkat Reddy. Please give access to Venkat Reddy.
Okay. Did you got?
Okay, sir. Good afternoon once again. So in the morning session, we have discussed about circularly polarized antennas and implementing the circularly polarized antennas with the help of fractal curves by applying 2 orthogonal by applying 2 different fractal curves along the orthogonal directions. Required asymmetry is generated in the patch that will excite 2 orthogonal modes with equal amplitudes and 90 degrees out of phase for circular polarization emission. So when you have a idea, then we have to implement this in the simulation tool. That is a primary part for any antenna designer. Whether you are grouping, whether you are applying metamaterials to antennas or reactive impedance surface to the antennas, this is all theoretical part. So we can go through the literature survey and we can get the required amount of information. But once you know the theoretical concepts, so implementing the theoretical concepts and simulating those antennas in the simulation electromagnetic simulation tool is a very important part in the research. So here there are several EM simulators that are available for antenna simulation. So we have HFSS, high frequency structural simulator. It is based on finite element method, numerical electromagnetics, finite element numerical electromagnetics method. And we have FICO and we have IE3D and CST Studio is also available. But out of this, HFSS, high frequency structural simulator tutorial, is most popularly used. It is basically used for designing all microwave components. Here we are using this high frequency structural simulator for designing the Profeed Minkowski fractal patch antenna operating at 3.4 gigahertz. We will see how to design the ground plane, how to design substrate, and then designing the fractal antenna on the top of the substrate, and then followed by adding connectors to the patch structure. Okay, and then assigning the bond, and then adding radiation boundary, assigning radiation boundary. Okay, we will see all these things step by step. So this results, whatever we are getting. So when you want to communicate a paper, we should properly get the simulation results. So you should get the return loss results. Okay, and then gain versus frequency and radiation patterns. And if it is a CP antenna, VSWR versus frequency. These plots we have to get from the simulation tool, and these plots we have to include in the research paper. And once you do several parametric analysis, like varying the parameters of the patch structure, or changing the pro-feeding, and changing the thickness of the substrate, and changing the dielectric constant of the substrate, we can do required parametric analysis. Okay, and after doing the required parametric analysis, we'll collect the data, and based on the collected data, simulation data, we will see that at what parameters, for what parameters the antenna is giving the best result. For example, if I locate the probe at some location, sometimes at that particular location there may be mismatching of impedance, so you don't get the better return loss. So once as you're changing the field location at as you're doing the parametric analysis of the field location, at certain location you will have better impedance matching and you will get the better return loss results. Okay, so after doing a parametric analysis, we will get the perfect simulation results, and we'll get the parametric results from the parametric analysis, and best performed antenna from the simulations we'll select it, and then we will go for fabrication of that, and we will take the measurements and we'll compare simulation results with measured results. So when you're going to the fabrication, first the simulation is the very important portion of the research, antenna researchers. Okay, so introduction here. So here this tutorial is intended to show that how to create, simulate, and analyze a pro-feed Minkowski fractal patch antenna using the Anasoft HFSS. Initially, Minkowski patch is designed to operate at 3.4 GHz. So we are going to design an antenna, Minkowski fractal boundary antenna with a pro-feeding mechanism, which is operating at 3.4 GHz WiMAX frequency. What I'm going to simulate now. The size of the ground plane, I have chosen it as 40 mm by 40 mm. Here, this is a side view of microstrip patch antenna. This is the bottommost layer is the ground plane, and it is the dielectric substrate, and on top of the dielectric substrate, a radiating patch is located. And the dimensions of this ground plane are 40 mm by 40 mm I have chosen. And initially, before designing the Minkowski, so first we have to design a square patch antenna, and the size of the square patch antenna is 26 mm by 26 mm for WiMAX 3.4 GHz. When you calculate the using the mathematical formulas, when you substitute frequency is equal to 3.4 GHz, and height is equal to 3.2, and epsilon is equal to 2.2, you will get the length of the patch antenna for 3.4 GHz WiMAX band. For WiMAX 3.4 GHz band is 26 mm length of the patch is required. So the dimensions we have taken it as square patch antenna, its size 26 mm by 26 mm is considered for designing 3.4 GHz WiMAX antenna. For 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi or WLAN, for 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, generally 36 mm by 36 mm size patch structure is used for 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi antenna. For WiMAX at 3.4, so 26 mm by 26 mm square patch is required. And what's the square patch is designed? We will introduce Minkowski fractals to the square patch antenna along the four sides. At the four sides, we will substitute the Minkowski fractal with the different indentations along x-axis and y-axis. This is a primary requirement for general circular polarization. Along the x-axis, we deploy a Minkowski fractal curve with indentation depth 4 mm along x-axis. Along y-axis, we deploy a Minkowski fractal curve with 2 mm indentation depth. Okay, and substrate used here is RT Duride 5880. Better to use 5880 RT Duride materials. So if you use FR4, it will exhibit more losses. So the dielectric constant is 2.2 here, and the substrate thickness is 3.2 mm. As a thickness, we have considered it as 3.2 mm here. This is a cross view, ground plane, substrate with thickness 3.2, epsilon or 2.2, and here it is a patch. And this is the overall antenna layout. So from the top view, you can see a ground plane of size 40 mm by 40 mm. The outer square, the outer line is indicating it is a ground plane with 40 mm by 40 mm size. Okay, and initially we will design 26 mm by 26 mm size patch here, square patch, and later we will deploy fractal Minkowski fractal curves along x-axis and as well as along the y-axis. So we are considering origin as center part as origin 0, 0, 0. With respect to this origin, ground plane starts from -20, -20, 0, and its size along the x direction is 40 mm, and along the y direction the size is 40 mm. We'll start from a point -20, -20, 0, because the ground plane is located at z is equal to 0 plane, and patch is located at z is equal to 3.2 mm. You can see here along the z axis, ground plane is located at z is equal to 0, and whereas the radiating patch or the fractal patch is located at z is equal to 3.2 mm here. Okay, and now we'll start from we'll consider that it is the origin. With respect to origin, ground plane starts at -20, -20, z is equal to 0 plane, and along x-axis size is 40 mm, along y-axis size is 40 mm. Okay, and whereas the patch is located at z is equal to 3.2 mm plane, and the size is 26 mm, and here it is 26 mm. So that's the reason we are starting at -13, -13, and the x-axis size we will mention it as 26 mm, y-axis size we will mention it as 26 mm, and z location is given as 3.2. At a location of 3.2, that is equal to 3.2, this patch is located. Okay, and the probe is located at 5, 5, 0. The for locating the probe, the point we have chosen it as 5, 5, 0, and depth along the x-axis 4 mm, and indentation depth along the y-axis we have taken it as 2 mm. And this is the probe feed we are going to use here, and the probe will have inner conductor and outer conductor, and inner conductor we are calling it as coax. Inner conductor is referred as coax pin and coax probe. Outer conductor is a coax with a vacuum radius as 1.6 mm. This inner conductor radius is 0.7 mm radius, and it is a pure copper wire, copper conductor. And whereas the outer circle is a coax, and we'll have a vacuum which is surrounded by, which is placed between inner conductor and outer conductor. We are considering the dielectric medium as between inner and outer conductors. The dielectric medium we are considering it as a vacuum, and diameter of this outer conductor is 1.6 mm. We are considering. This is a and this is the overall antenna that we are going to simulate in the HFA simulator. You can see here the thickness, the ground plane size is 40 mm. Here the ground plane is 40 mm, and patch size is 26 mm by 26 mm, and this probe is located at 5, 5, 0 location. So this is overall layout of the antenna in the HFSS simulation tool. So we can see here this is the bottommost one is ground plane, and this light green color is indicating a Minkowski fractal, and here this is the probe located at 5, 5, 0, and this ground plane is at z is equal to 0 axis, and patch is located at z is equal to 3.2 plane. So when you are inserting a coaxial probe, so we need to remove certain portion in the ground plane. So because the inner conductor of the coaxial probe must connect to the patch structure. The patch top and the top layer we are having the patch. So the coaxial cable inner conductor should touch the patch, which is located at 3.2 mm height. Okay, and this this coaxial cable inner conductor should not touch the ground plane. When it is touching the ground plane, energy is whatever the energy that we are feeding, electromagnetic energy that we are feeding for radiation to the patch structure. When this coaxial cable inner conductor is touching the ground plane, we will have short circuit, and then most of the energy is wasted at the ground plane. That is the reason when you are locating the probe, when you are inserting the probe, you should remove a certain portion in the ground plane. We have to remove a copper in the ground plane, and within that etched circle, so we will insert coaxial probe, and with the inner conductor, which is the coax pin touching the patch structure, fractal patch. And here the ground cut, the size of this ground cut is 1.6 mm, which is same as circle radius of this coaxial cable. So now with the small introduction, we will move to the simulations here. Double click on the HFSS tool, HFSS icon. So we will get the simulation area like this, and this is the workspace where you are going to design the antenna. And once it is open, please click on this insert HFSS design. Once you click on this insert HFSS design, you will get the workspace. Here this workspace, we are going to design the antenna, and we are going to simulate the antenna here. And here these are the various options. Here we can draw a circle, we can draw a rectangular surface here, we can draw a circular surface, and we can draw a pentagon. Okay, so these are the 2D surfaces, and these are the 3D solid objects. We can make use of these 3D solid objects when you are drawing the substrate. Substrate is a 3D object, so we make use of 3D objects here while when you are drawing the substrate. Whereas a probe is a cylindrical 3D object, so we'll make use of this cylindrical object for drawing the probe. Okay, and these are for drawing the curves. These are for drawing the lines. You can make use of these lines here. So let us start with a substrate. Initially, we will insert a substrate here. As I told, substrate thickness is 3.2 mm and size is 40 mm by 40 mm. So let us start with a 3D box here. Take a 3D box and drop here 3D box. Okay, so now please click on this 3D box and drop this 3D box onto the workspace, and you will get the substrate like this, and assign the name for this as a substrate. Okay, and what is the material? The substrate we are using is RT-Dural material. So material, and then edit and go to RT, type here RT-Dural material. RT-Dural material 5880, and click on this RT-Dural 5880 material with the 2.2 dielectric constant, and click on OK. So the material for substrate we have taken it as RT-Dural, and transparent, make it as 60% transparent, and click on OK and OK. And once we have assigned the dielectric constant material to the substrate, now we will go to the create box. Go to create box, and here we are starting from -20. With respect to origin, we are starting from -20, and here it is -20, -20, and -20. And the ground plane size is we are at the ground plane. We are starting from the z is equal to 0 axis, so -20, -20, 0, and then along x-axis the size is 40 mm, and along the y-axis the size is 40 mm, and thickness of the substrate, we are starting from z is equal to 0 plane, and we are the size is z is equal to 3.2 we'll mention here, because the substrate thickness is 3.2 we have considered. So z-axis size, along the z-axis the size is 3.2 mm. Please click on OK, and we got the required substrate. And for limiting this object, this substrate to the workspace, please click on this fit all contents in the view tab. Please click on this fit all the contents. So you will see that all the contents substrate is located in the given workspace. Okay. So you make use of this rotate around the model center. You can make use, click on this rotate model center, and we can rotate this substrate in whatever way we want. We can see here. So this is along z-axis, starting from z is equal to 0, z is up to z is equal to 3.2 substrate is located. Along this y-axis, along the y-axis 40 mm size. Along the z-axis, it is along the x-axis. Sorry, along the y-axis it is 40 mm. Along the x-axis also it is 40 mm. Okay. Once the substrate is completed, now we have to draw ground plane. Ground plane is a metallic sheet. So we'll consider the 2D object here. Go to the draw rectangle here and click on rectangle and drop the rectangle in the workspace, and click on this rectangular box. We'll name it as ground, and color not required. So transparency is 60%. Consider it as 60%. Okay. So once the name is assigned as a ground plane, so now create a rectangular box. Click on this create rectangle, and this is a ground. This ground plane is also starting from -20, -20, and -20. And the ground plane is located at z is equal to 0 plane. So keep it z is equal to 0 plane as it is. Along the x-axis, it is 40 mm size. Ground plane size is 40 mm. Along the y-axis, ground plane size is 40 mm. Then we'll click on substitute 40 and 40 here. We'll get a ground plane which is located at z is equal to 0 plane. You can see here. So this is the substrate. This box, 3D box, is a substrate. At the bottom of the substrate, we have deployed the ground plane of size 40 mm by 40 mm, and ground plane is a copper metal. So that is the reason. So assign to the ground plane, assign boundary as perfect electric, because ground plane is a copper plate. So the perfect electric field, perfect electric we have to assign here. Assign boundary as perfect electric and click on OK. So now ground plane is completed. As ground is completed, now we'll design the square patch on the top of the substrate. So ground plane is located at z is equal to 3.2 axis. Z is equal to 3.2. Location we have placed the this square patch. Now the patch structure, the patch is also a two-dimensional surface. So please select this 2D rectangle, select the draw rectangle and drop this rectangle in the workspace. Okay, once you have dropped it, and change this name as patch, square patch, and the transparency is 60% here, and click on OK. Once the name is assigned, please give the dimensions of the patch. It has to work at 3.4 gigahertz. So for at 3.4 gigahertz, the dimensions of the patch are 26 mm by 26 mm. So we'll start at -13, and again along x-axis it started -13. Along the y-axis also we started -13. So here the patch is located at z is equal to 3.2 plane. So place z is equal to 3.2 here, and dimensions of the patch along the x-axis it is 26, and along the y-axis also it is 26, and click on OK. Okay, so far we have inserted substrate, and then ground plane, at z is equal to 0 plane, and patch at z is equal to 3.2 plane. And now patch is also a perfect electric conductor. So we'll assign boundary to this patch as perfect electric here. Okay, so we have completed 3 parts: substrate, ground plane, and square patch of size 26 mm by 26 mm. Okay, so once you have drawn this square patch, we have to substitute Minkowski fractal curves at the 4 directions. Along the x-axis, the dimensions are along the x-axis. The indentation depth along the x-axis is 2 mm. Along the y-axis, the indentation depth is 4 mm. We have taken. So from this PDF, from the tutorial, we can see along this x-axis, along this x-axis, it is 4 mm. We have taken. Along the y-axis, indentation depth of this Minkowski fractal is 2 mm. So we will draw 4 rectangles. Here rectangular of width 4 mm, and this length of this rectangular as 13 mm. We'll drop a rectangle, and as well as here also 2 mm by 13 mm rectangle we will drop here. We'll drop the 4 rectangles, and we'll subtract these 4 rectangles from the square patch for getting the Minkowski fractal curve. So it is a 4 mm size along the x-axis. Along the x-axis here, we have to deploy a rectangle with 4 mm width and 13 mm length. So rectangle is also a 2D surface. We will start from here. Deploy here. Okay, and mark it as rectangle 1. Name it as rectangle 1, and 60% transparency, and then create rectangle, and the size, it is starting at as the length is 13 mm here, so it should start at y is equal to minus 6.5, x is equal to 11. So when it is 13, when this extreme end is x is equal to 13 here, and width is 4 mm, so it should start at 11. It should start at 9. So 9 plus 4 you will get 13. So give the position as x is equal to 9 and y is equal to minus 6.5, and we are this rectangle we are locating at 3.2 mm. 3.2 mm. X size is 4 mm. Along y it is 13 mm. Click on OK. Okay. Deploy a rectangle here, which is starting at this location is 9 comma minus 6.5 comma 3.2, and size along the x direction is 4 mm. Along the y, the size is 13 mm. Okay. Once it is completed, deploy another rectangle at this location. We'll start from here. Okay. It has name it as rectangle 2, and size as 60% size. Click on OK. And now it is starting at as it is minus 6.5 along this length. Along this length is 13 mm, and width is 2 mm in y direction. Okay. Now it is starting at x is equal to minus 6.5. X is equal to minus 6.5, and y is equal to minus 12. X is equal to minus 6.5, and y is equal to 11. Y is equal to 12, and we are placing it at 3.2 mm height. So mark it as x size is 13 and y size is 2. Click on OK. Just click on OK. We got a rectangle which is located at this location. And again, so we have to draw another rectangle here and another rectangle along the y directions. For drawing the rectangle here, choose the two-dimensional surface and click on this and deploy a rectangle here. Mark it as rectangle, name it as rectangle 3, and transparency is 60%. And now it is starting from here, this location. So it is here. It is minus along the x-axis. It is minus 13. So it is minus 11 here. So we'll start at minus 11. And y-axis is at minus 6.5. It is 3.2. Now it is minus 9 actually. Now we'll get 4, and here it is 13. It is minus 4. We have obtained. We have deployed a rectangular here. So please draw the 4 rectangles so that once you draw the 4 rectangles, if you subtract the 4 rectangles from the square patch, you'll get the Minkowski geometry here. And along the y direction, choose deploy a rectangle here. Okay, and this starts from this length is 13 mm, so it should start from minus 6.5 here. X is equal to minus 6.5, and y is the size is 2 mm width. Size will be y-axis will be minus 11. So this point is minus 6.5 and minus 6.5 comma 11 will give you the x and y axis. It starts at x is equal to minus 6.5, and y it is starting at 11, and it is located at 3.2 height, and now it is 13 mm size, and it is 2. We have obtained. So these are the 4 rectangles we have placed along the 4 sides of the square patch. We can see whether they are deployed at the 3.2 mm height or not. All are at 3.2 mm height. Okay, and now we'll choose the we'll select the patch, and again we'll select these 4 rectangles, rectangular 1, 2, 3, and 4, and using this Boolean expression, subtract expression. So click on subtract. So this patch is at the left side, and the rectangulars at the right side. Please click on the OK. So you can see you have obtained a Minkowski fractal antenna. So 4 rectangulars, wherever you want to etch the copper from the patch, deploy the 4 rectangles and subtract these 4 rectangles from the patch. So you will get a Minkowski fractal geometry here. Okay, so we have completed substrate and ground plane and as well as square patch, and again on the ground and the square patch along the 4 sides Minkowski fractals are deployed. Okay. As I told, for connecting a coaxial probe, we should remove certain portion from the ground plane. So because when inner conductor of this coaxial cable touches with the ground plane, so it becomes short circuit. So we have to remove a circle of size 1.6 mm radius, same as the radius of the coax. We have to remove at the probe feeding location. Okay. And now we will draw a circle. The probe feed is located at 5, 5, 0. So if this is x axis and this is y axis, and it is located at 5, 5, 0 point, we will locate the probe here. Take a circle, drop a circle here. This is ground cut, mention it as ground cut. and transparency is 60%. We'll take, and this is located at 5, 5, 0, same as the probe location. This ground cut is all location is same as the probe location, and this ground cut is done in the ground plane. So the z-axis 0 we have to consider, and radius is 1.6 mm. Please click on OK. Now select the ground and select this circle. Okay, and choose the subtract option, and the ground minus circle. As a ground cut is placed exactly at the location where we are going to insert the probe, coaxial probe. Okay. Once it is done, so we will insert the probe here. And the next one is coax pin, adding the coax pin. Once this is completed, we have to insert a coaxial probe feed here. So this will have a pin which is in the substrate pin, and as well as coax probe, and surrounding that we will have a coax. We will take a cylinder, because this inner conductor is a cylinder, a copper cylinder. So we will select the cylindrical geometry here. Okay. Mark it as coax pin, and select transparency as 60%, and this is also located at 5, 5, 0, and the radius of this coax pin or coax probe radius is generally will take 0.7 mm radius, and height is -5, and take it as 0. Number of segments is 0. We have inserted a coaxial pin here. This is a coaxial pin which is starting from z is equal to 0 and extended to z is equal to -5 height. Z is equal to 0 to z is equal to -5 height. It is extended, and this radius of this coaxial pin is 0.7 mm. Okay, this pin is a perfect electric conductor. It is a perfect conductor, so assign boundary as perfect electric to this. So this is PEC, perfect electric 3. Okay, once this portion is completed, coax pin is connected, and we have to locate a coax probe from z is equal to 0 to z is equal to 3.2. So we have to locate a coax probe. Coax probe is also a cylindrical structure. So we will make use of 3D cylinder here. We'll make use of 3D cylinder here. Okay, so mark it as probe, edit, transparency as 60%, and this is also located at 5, 5, 0, and radius is 0.7 mm, 0.7 mm, and height is 3.2. Click on OK. Okay, so from z is equal to 0 to z is equal to 3.2 height, we have inserted a coax. We have inserted a coax probe here. This is the coax pin, and this is the coax probe. Okay, and now the outer conductor of the coaxial probe we have to place here. This is also a cylindrical surface. This is the outer conductor of the coax probe. Mark it as coax. Name it as coax, and transparency is 60% here. Click on OK, and it is also located 5, 5, 0, and it is extended from 0 to -5. So height is -5 here. Height is -5, and radius is 1.6 mm. This coax radius is 1.6 mm, and click on OK. And now outer conductor of this coaxial probe is also designed. This is inner is coax pin, and the cylinder which is inside the substrate is coax probe, and outer conductor is coax here, and this is generally a vacuum. We will consider material is vacuum. We will consider, and click on OK. Once this probe is designed, now we will assign radiation box here. We will assign the radiation box here. Let's consider a radiation box. So consider name it as radiation, and the transparency is 60% here, and click on OK. And this is extending from radiation box is extending from -20, -20, 0 to up to with a height of 10 mm. We will consider the height of the radiation box is of 10 mm, and along the x direction, along the y direction, the dimensions of the radiation box are same as a ground plane, whereas along the thickness of the substrate, the radiation box height, radiation box starts from z is equal to 0 plane, and it will extend up to z is equal to 10. Okay, so that's the reason we will consider positioning as -20, -20, 0. X-axis size is same as size of the patch, size of the ground plane. Along the y-axis also same as ground plane, but along the z-axis we'll extend it up to 10 mm, and click on OK. And the radiation box is also inserted here. Okay. Once the radiation box is inserted, we have to. This is a material is vacuum we have to consider, and once it is assigned, this vacuum box is inserted. So we have to assign radiation boundary to this box. So radiation boundary we have to assign for this box. For this, select faces and select all the 6 faces of this box to assign the radiation boundary. So already ground plane is a metal, so please avoid this and accept the ground plane. Select the remaining 5 faces. Select this, select this, select this. And select this. Except the ground plane, please select all the remaining faces, remaining 5 faces, and then click on this, right click on this. Assign boundary as radiation. Right click here, assign boundary as radiation, and click on OK. Okay, radiation boundary is also assigned here. So substrates is completed, ground plane is completed, and Minkowski fractal is completed, and designing the coax feed, coax probe feed is also completed, and we have kept the whole antenna in the radiation box, and at all the 5 sides, radiation, all the 5 faces are selected, and radiation boundary is assigned. So the design part is completed. For analyzing the results, we have to set up the we have to go for frequency setup. Okay. We'll again go back to this tutorial. As wave port, we have to assign here to the ground to this. At this location, we have to place a wave port here. For this, select the circle, and it is located at 5, 5, -5. Wave port is located at 5, 5, -5 with a radius same as radius of coax, that is 1.6 mm. This is a wave port. It is 60%. Click on OK, and it is located at 5, 5, 5, -5, and radius is 1.6, and click on OK. The wave port is a circle is given here, and now we will assign a wave port to this circle. Click on the port and go to HFSS. Assign excitations. Go to excitations and assign wave port here, and name. So once you draw the circle and locate it at 5, 5, -5. So select the port and go to the HFSS menu and click on OK. Solution type, when you are starting the HFSS itself, we have to give it as a solution type as given terminal. So now click on select the wave port and go to the HFSS. Go to the HFSS and excitations. Assign wave port here. Click on OK. The wave port is also assigned here. So the one point I forgot here, once HFSS is open and once you have inserted the HFSS this tree here, so we have to go to the HFSS and go to the solution type. Select the solution type as given terminal for coaxial probe feeding, and select the units also given here. Units are given in the modular. So units are generally will consider as a millimeter as units. We can take it as centimeters also. So all the design part is completed. Radiation box, and we have assigned the wave ports. Now we have to see the frequency setup here. And for the radiation also we have to give the setup, radiation setup as, go to the radiation and insert far field setup here. Far field setup as -180 to 180, -180 to 180, and this is 5, and this is 0 to 360. Mark it as 5 and click on OK. So wave port is assigned, for the radiation boundary, radiation setup is assigned, and now we have to assign a solution setup here. Analysis setup, add a solution setup here. Go to analysis setup, HFSS analysis setup, and go to add solution setup, and mark it as solution frequency as 3.4 gigahertz. We are designing the antenna when so. Your number of count is 101 is the linear count we are considering, and display these values here. 1.524 we are considering we are taking the results, and number of points as 101 and click on OK. So we have completed radiation setup and we have completed solution. We have added solution setup and we have added the frequency sweep. And now we will analyze this. We will validate this whether all the design part is correct or not. We will validate this. So design settings are okay. 3D model is also okay. The boundaries are perfectly given as electric field for substrate, electric field for ground plane, electric field for patch is given, and excitations, waveport setup excitation is given, and analysis setup is mentioned, and radiation also mentioned here. And now we will click on analyze this. It will take a few minutes. We have to save this, mark it as Minkowski here, Minkowski fractal, and click on save here. It will take few minutes for getting the results. It's a normal completion of simulation on server. So now go to the HFSS and results and click on create terminal solution data report and rectangular plot, and select it as S parameter and it is in dB. And now as for these pins, we have not assigned the perfect electric. Please assign perfect electric to this pin, electric 4, and probe is also perfect electric. Assign boundary as perfect electric here. Click on OK. Yes, this here for the pin mistake is we have done for pin and probe. So we have assigned it as vacuum. So pin and probe, these two are copper wires generally. So for pin, please go to the vacuum here material edit and type here PEC perfect electric and click on OK and OK. And for coax also, coax is also here. Sorry, probe. Probe is located in the substrate. The probe is also a copper wire. So click on probe, double click on probe, and go to the material and assign perfect electric property to this material. Now we have given pin and probe perfect electric conductors. Once again, we will analyze, validate this boundaries and excitations. Perfect electric 3 and perfect electric 4 and overlapping. Perfect electric 2 and boundary perfect electric 5 overlap. Once you perfectly simulate this, once you perfectly design this probe and as well as a pin, probe and pin, there should not be any overlap between these boundaries, overlap between these perfect electrics. So the ground plane should not touch, ground plane should not have any contact with the probe, and there should not be any contact of ground plane with the pin. That we have to avoid here. So warning, boundary perfect electric 2 and boundary perfect electric 5 are overlapping. So perfect electric is probe, and perfect electric 2 is this one, patch. Five comma 0, radius is 0.7 and height is 3.2 mm. And patch size is also 3.2 mm, 26 mm size. Patch is also, ground plane is also like this. We will see that we'll rectify the error. Once you carefully design this perfect electric pin and probe as a perfect electric and HFSS, and go to the results and the rectangular plot and click on the report. Now analyze this, validate and analyze this. It will take few minutes for analyzing. We have to carefully see that there should not be any contact between the ground plane and the probe. So if there is any contact between probe and ground plane, it will show error. Please follow this tutorial. Please follow this tutorial step by step. The simulation is completed. Go to HFSS results and create model and click on rectangle. As you can see, the antenna is working at 3.4 gigahertz. The return loss is obtained, maximum return loss is obtained here. It is minus 27 dB around at 3.4 and 3.5 gigahertz. It is working. So we have to carefully design the ground plane and as well as carefully assign the radiation boundary. If there are any if the radiation boundary overlaps with the ground plane or the radiation boundary overlaps with the probe and the ground plane overlapping with the probe, it will show you some overlapping errors. Okay, please avoid these overlapping errors. And then once you simulate it, it is generating. Go to the HFSS results and rectangular plot, and click on S parameters, and you will get new report. And it is operating at 3.5 gigahertz frequency. And once you see the return loss characteristics, now we will go to far field characteristics. So radiation pattern, we'll see that HFSS, go to the results and create far field report and radiation pattern, and then families, go to the families, select 5 as 0 degrees, 5 as 0 degrees, and new report. You can see radiation pattern is showing here. So starting from free HFSS is equal to results, and go to the far field, and the radiation boundary, you can change the radiation boundary as in the radiation boundary, change it as 182 minus 182 180. Radiation boundary, change it as minus 182 180, and with size 5, and here it is 0 to 360 with size 5, and click on OK. Analyze it. The radiation boundary 5 is starting from minus 180 to 180 with step size 5, and theta and 5 we have to carefully give the values. Once this is completed, go to HFSS results and create fault field and radiation pattern, and theta is all, go to the families and 5 as 0 degrees, choose 5 as 0 degrees and close this, and go to the new report. We can see 2D radiation pattern is showing here. For 3D radiation pattern, go to HFSS results and create far field reports and 3D polar plot, and we will vary the 5. We will consider the 5 as all values, and theta also all the values. And now click on new report, and 3D polar plot is shown here. So with respect to change of pi, with respect to change of theta and phi are varying through all the values. So you can see a 3D polar plot is obtained here. Okay, and now we'll see another important parameter, that is current distribution on the patch. That will give you idea about how the antenna is rendered in the circular polarization. Go to the fields and plot the fields and electric current distribution, and go to the vector J. First we have to choose the patch structure here. At the perfect electric, at the sheets we will consider a patch structure, and then we will go to HFSS and then fields and plot the fields or animating of the fields. No visible plot found, only visual plots may be animated. So we will simulate it again, then we will analyze it completely, then we will see HFSS fields, electric fields, and magnitude J vector HFSS fields, plot the fields, electric magnetic magnitude of J surface. As the fields are generated, electric field on the surface of the patch is generated. Now we will go to the animation part. The animation part will show you how the electric field vectors are rotating 360 degrees. 360 degrees at 3.4 gigahertz. Go to patch and go to the fields and animate the fields. We'll use the click on this J surface magnet here. So you will have a scaling as 15 and markers. Markers we have to take it as cylindrical markers. Scale is limits and then markers. HFSS fields and plot the fields and J as vector J surface and done here. Then we will see results. Far field results here, HFSS, and then animate. As the change of electric field vector, as it is rotating 360 degrees, we can see rotation of the electric field vector by 360 degrees, indicating it is generating a circular polarization. And the markers we will consider it as a line or a line markers. And the scaling we will mention it as 0 to 1 to 10 here. For better visualization of these markers, we will change the limits of this scaling as 1 to 10 and close this. And now we will once again see how the fields are rotating, animate it. As you can see, the fields, electric field vectors are taking 360 degrees. As the time progressing, they are taking 360 degrees rotation. It is an indication that it is generating a circular polarization at 3.4 gigahertz. Otherwise, when you are taking the fields, drawing the fields, plot the fields and J and vector J surface and select the patch and go to the HFSS and go to the fields, plot the fields and magnitude of J surface. And here frequency we will take it as 3.5 gigahertz. Even though we have designed the antenna at 3.4, it is generating the better circular polarization at 3.45. We'll select 3.475 and click on done. And now they plot these fields animate it. And the fields are taking, electric field vector is taking 360 degrees rotation as the time is changing from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to t by 4 and t is equal to t by 2 and t is equal to capital T. Okay. Now we will close this and we will go to the next simulation of metamaterial based fractal antenna here, mushroom unit cell metamaterial based fractal antenna. So we will insert a metamaterial mushroom unit cell here. So we will etch a square here with the dimensions 10 mm by 10 mm size, and within this etched area we will insert 9 mm by 9 mm size square patch, and we will connect a wire which is touching this inner square patch with the ground plane. This is the side view. We already have shown a side view. So we will have a patch here, and we will have a via which is connecting this ground plane with this inner square patch. The size of this square patch is 9 mm by 9 mm here. We will etch a 10 mm by 10 mm size slot here. Within the etched slot, we will insert 9 mm by 9 mm square patch. Likewise, what we have done for constructing the Minkowski fractal antenna. So, as we have done for the Minkowski fractal antenna, we will insert a 10 mm by 10 mm size rectangular here, and the 10 mm by 10 mm size rectangular is subtracted from the Minkowski fractal, and within this subtracted area, a square patch of size 9 mm by 9 mm is introduced here. 9 mm by 9 mm size square patch is introduced, and we will assign a perfect electric boundary to this 9 mm by 9 mm square patch, and a metallic wire of size 0.6 radius. The radius, we will take it as a 0.6 radius. Wire is connected between this 9 mm by 9 mm square patch and ground plane. Between the ground plane and 9 mm by 9 mm square patch, a metallic wire is connected here, and this will act as a mushroom unit cell. This will act as a metamaterial surface, and because of this loaded metamaterial, because of this loaded mushroom unit cell, the left hand band, so other than 3.4 gigahertz, we will generate another band at 2.4 gigahertz. We will resonate another frequency band. We'll see that whether it is validated. We will validate the design, whether it is perfectly validated or not, and later we'll analyze all.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how to draw that slot, sir?
How to draw?
That slot, rectangular slot.
Example slot.
Yes, sir.
How to draw the slot?
Yes, sir. You told that the 10 plus 10 mm.
10 mm by 10 mm slot you want to know.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
How
sir.
to draw in that fractal structure?
How to draw the fractal structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. I will show you once the simulation is completed here.
Oh, okay.
Sir, for drawing the slots, first you I mean, at what first you select the location. At what location you want to put a slot, inserting a slot. Okay, at that location we add a rectangle.
Okay.
Insert a rectangle, and we will select the base rectangle and the slot where you want. For the slot, we might have created another rectangle. Okay, you select these two, and using the subtraction option here, you can subtract the slot. You can subtract the slot rectangle from the original square patch. I will show you now.
Oh, okay.
I will open another HFSS here. Another HFSS workspace I will open here. So insert HFSS design here. Click on this. So it will give you HFSS simulation area here, design area. So if you want to draw a slot, initially consider a square patch of size. For example, square patch of size 30 mm by 30 mm I have taken. So drop this surface here, two-dimensional surface into the workspace, and give the dimensions as -15 to -15 and 0 and 30 mm and 30 mm size. Click on OK and click on this fit into the window. Fit into the window. As it is taking a parametric analysis, so I'm terminating this. As it is going to enter into parametric analysis. We'll start with the Minkowski fractal patch, whatever we have implemented in the earlier. So within that, we'll try to insert a slot. Yes, within the earlier fractal structure, we will try to insert a slot of size 10 mm by 10 mm here. So take a rectangle and draw a rectangle here. So the size of this rectangle is okay. Take a rectangle and drop the rectangle here and consider the size of this as It is located at 0, 0, starting from 0, 0, 0, and at a height of 3.2 mm. We want to insert a rectangle in the rectangle in this Minkowski fractal patch. For inserting a slot, first we have to etch. First we have to insert a rectangle, and that rectangle we will remove from the base fractal. Okay, that will make a slot in the fractal antenna. So at 0, 0, 0, we start from 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3.2, and x-axis size is 10 mm and y-axis size is 10 mm. Click on OK, and consider it as 8 mm by 8 mm here. Click on OK. So for inserting a rectangle, you consider you draw a rectangle like wherever you want to make a slot, and mark it as minus along y direction. Mark it as -8 here, -8. Click on OK. Okay, and select the base fractal here. Patch is given here. Fractal patch is given here. This fractal, and select this rectangle. Whatever you want to make a slot, wherever you want to make a slot, rectangle. You select these two rectangle, patch and rectangle. You try to select, and click on this subtract option. Subtract option, and remove rectangle 5. Rectangle 5 from the patch will produce a slot in the fractal structure. So remove rectangle 5 from the patch. Click on OK. You have given a slot here, introduced a slot here. Okay, so wherever you want to make a slot, first insert the rectangle dimension, insert a rectangle with the dimensions same as the slot. Okay, and then remove this rectangle from the patch, original patch. So that will make you that will generate a slot in the this given patch structure. Okay, and now we have to insert another small square patch here of size 8 mm by 8 mm size. 8 mm by 8 mm size. Insert a small rectangle of 8 mm by 8 mm size. Now it is 7 mm by 7 mm. I will consider. Click on OK, and this is -7. This is 0.5. This is 0.5 and -0.5. Click on OK. Yes, a 7 mm by 7 mm rectangle is located here, and we will insert a via touching this inner square patch and ground plane. And the via must be at the center of this square patch. The center of this square patch is approximately at -4, -4, -3.2. 4, 4, 3.2. We will insert a via. Assign perfect electric conductor to this rectangle 6, and the via for this via it is a perfect electric conductor. Via is a perfect electric conductor, and take 60% here, and click on OK. And it is located at -4, sorry, it is at located 4, -4, 0, and size is 0.4 mm, and it is extended up to -3.2. -3.2 size. Click on OK. The via is located, and sorry, it is from +3.2. Click on OK. A via is inserted from ground plane to the internal inner square patch, which is touching the ground plane and inner square patch. Okay, and now a mushroom unit cell is loaded at the center. And now we analyze this. Please validate this, and everything seems perfect. And now analyze all. Click on analyze all. Let us see whether it is giving the left hand band or not. So first band is 3.4 gigahertz, and left hand band is which is left side to the 3.4. We are designing this to operate at 2.4 gigahertz and 3.4. And our original band is 3 point, and left hand band it should operate at 2.4 gigahertz. So let us see whether a left hand band it is generating or not after loading this mushroom unit cell.
No, sir. Hello.
No, sir. If you have any doubts, please,
Yes,
please
sir.
ask me, sir.
So in the meantime, I will ask one more question, sir.
Sir, no problem.
Sir, this is the first iteration, sir, fractal antenna. When we are going for second iteration, means how to do, sir. That one more thing is that how to do that parametric analysis, sir, in HFSS. That two things only.
Parametric analysis, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. We'll see the results first. We'll see, sir.
Okay, sir. After
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we are getting the second band at a 3.3 gigahertz, and the band one is band here 3.4 gigahertz. We are having the first resonating band, and left hand band we are obtaining at 3 gigahertz, approximately at 3 gigahertz. We are getting the second band. So it is indicating that after loading the Minkowski, after loading this metamaterial into the fractal structure, fractal patch. So there is a left hand band at 3 gigahertz is generated, sir. So parametric analysis can be done here instead of mentioning the values here 5,5,0, sir. So we can give a letter. We can give it as a here, and it has a parameter a, and this parameter as also a, and we'll click on OK. Okay. So instead of giving the exact direct values here, for example, for the probe location, I want to, for the probe location, for example, probe I want to vary from 0, 0 to 13, 13 along this diagonal from 0, 0 to 13, 13 I want to vary. So instead of giving the fixed values for the probe location 5, 5, 0, so I will mention here it has a parameter a, and here also a parameter a. Okay, sir, and I will click on OK here. Once you click on OK, it will ask that what type of unit type is. It is indicating length. It is indicating the length. So consider it as unit type as length, and units as mm here. And value, let us consider the initial value of parameter is 1 here. So we'll starting from a is equal to 1, and after a is equal to 1, we will give the parametric analysis. Once you, instead of giving the fixed values, we'll mention a parameter here, a comma 0. And once you click on this OK, and you will have a window like this will pop up. And here you will mention unit type as length, and units as millimeter. And initially you give the initial value as a value is equal to 1 here. Click on OK. And here also please click on OK. So once it is completed, so now we have done for probe feeding, the probe location is given as a variable here, a comma 0 we have mentioned. And now go to the HFSS and go to parametric analysis here, HFSS and parametric analysis, and add parametric here. And click on the add, click on this add here. And already, so we have given parameter A, variable A as a probe location. Okay. If there are, if we have given a more number of parameters, for example, for pin also we have given, instead of giving the fixed location, for pin also we have given a variable. We will have another variable as B if you have mentioned. So when you click on this HFSS and parametric analysis setup, so we will have A comma B also will appear. But right now we have given only a probe location. We are varying only for probe location. We are doing the parametric analysis. So click on A, and we will have a variable as A here, and linear step. What is the starting value of A, and what is the stop value? For example, what is the starting point? What is the end point? We are starting at A is equal to 1 mm, and we are going up to so the diagonally we are moving the probe from 0, 0 to 13, 13 we are moving. So initial value I am taking as probe location as A is equal to 1, and up to A is equal to 13 we can move. So here I am giving A is equal to 13 or 10, anything we can give from starting point to end point. So from A is equal to 1, 1, and then A is equal to 2, 2. So step size with a step of 1 mm. Initially A is equal to 1, 1 probe location it will simulate, and after A is equal to 2, I have given the step size as 2. It will simulate it for 2, 2, 0, and then it will go to 3, 3, 0. And likewise, at 10 locations at 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4 with a step size of 1, it will give you the simulation results, sir. And click on add here. Click on add here variables, variable A with step size 1, and starting point is 1 and stop point is 10 up to 10 mm. We can go, sir. Please click on OK. And now click on OK. And now if you simulate it, and if you click on this analyze all, it will run 10 times, sir. Because at A is equal to 1, 1, it will simulate. A is equal to 2.2, it will simulate. A is equal to 3.3 also. At various probe locations, it will generate the simulation results, sir. Now we will see for at how many probe locations it is generating the simulation results.
So similarly, we want to do on patch and substrate and all.
Yes, sir. Similarly, as you can see here, it is analysis progress. It is running for 10 values of A, sir. A is equal to 1, 1, A is equal to 2, 2. And likewise, wherever whatever the parameter you want to vary, if you want to vary the length, the patch size, if you want to vary, we have started from minus 13, 0 here, isn't it? Instead of minus 13, 0, we will mention it as B, 0. We will mention it as B, 0, and we will add for the B, we will add the starting point and end point, and with the step size, and it will give you different results for different parameters, sir. Now we have taken only probe location as a parametric analysis. I have considered only probe location, and the probe location along the diagonal starting from 1, 1, 2, 2 up to 10, 10. It will give you the results, sir.
From that we can choose which results is better, like that.
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
We will once you completed this and go to the HFSS and go to the results, and again we will check the S parameters. Then we will come to know at what values of probe location we are getting the perfect return loss. So return loss must be as negative as possible. So hardly we have to get below minus 10 dB is enough for return loss. So at certain probe location, as you're varying the probe location along the diagonal at the better impedance matching. Input impedance of the patch matching with the probe impedance, 50 ohm impedance, then you will have higher negative dip in the return loss, sir. So at only at particular probe location, you will get the maximum negative return loss value. So after doing the parametric analysis at one location at 5,5,0, you will see that a good return loss is occurring. So we will take it as a optimized value, sir. And if you want to run, we'll open another simulation and we'll fix the location as 5,5,0, and we can again run it for testing once again, sir.
Sir, in microchip instant feeding is we are taking lambda by 12 na, sir, for 50 ohm impedance matching.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, we have to choose probe also, probe feeding
Probe
technique.
also 50 ohm we have to choose, sir.
Okay.
The input impedance of the patch structure will vary, sir, as it is moving from center to the edges. That
Yes, sir, 0
impedance
to
where the
200, it will vary.
it will vary, sir. At certain location, we will have 50 ohm impedance, sir. That 50 ohm impedance of the patch should match with the probe 50 ohm impedance. So that is based on the probe location, sir. So based on the location on the patch impedance, at certain location of the patch, probe location will match with the 50 ohm of the patch input impedance. Then you will have better return loss, sir.
Sir, sir, probe diameter will affect that antenna parameter, sir. Normally, what is the default value of probe diameter?
Default value generally in all tutorials, sir, they have given it as 0.7 mm is the radius.
Inner radius, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because even you take even if you buy a coaxial cable connector, sir, and if you measure that size of that, hardly you will obtain a diameter of 1 mm to 1.2 mm, sir.
Okay, sir.
You can buy a coaxial cable, sir, a connector,
Okay.
RF coaxial connector, and if you measure that radius of that also, you will hardly get 0.5 mm to 0.7 mm, sir.
Okay. That also 50 ohm, sir. If radius is changing, means that impedance will change or not,
Impedance
sir?
will change, everything will change, sir. But at 1 mm diameter and around that, we will get the 50 ohm that should match with the input impedance of the patch, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
With this coaxial feed connector would be ideally 1.1 mm, I suppose.
Yeah, it will be around 1 to 1. Yes, sir. Diameter is 1.1 mm.
Yes.
We can up to 1.1 to 1.2.
Yeah,
We can
1.2
take it
close
as.
Okay. Sir, one more, sir, in MetaMTel, how to select the master and the slave, sir? In latest version, I saw that previous webinar, sir, but they are selecting that coupled option is there. But in my laptop, older version is there. Here, master and the slave is how to select, sir, that the master and the slave boundary. Sir, are you getting my point, or once again I will repeat?
Sir, please repeat it, sir, once again.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Don't
Sir,
mind.
in metamaterial, we want to give master and slave, na, sir.
Okay.
How to give the master and slave boundary?
Master and slave boundary.
After the simulation, we will tell, sir.
Sir, elaborate the question properly, sir. I mean, we are not getting it. Like master.
Master and slave in the sense.
You're talking about the patch as a master and as well as the patch, the substrate to be a master and as well as substrate. The patch should be as a slave or something else.
Uh, Sir, for a metamaterial, you want to creating one SRR, sir, split ring resonator.
Okay.
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 In
Yes,
that
sir.
SRR, we want to creating radiation box. That opposite, we want to fix now, sir, master and slave boundary.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
know, sir, how to fix that the master and the slave boundary.
No,
That
no, no.
one.
He's you are talking about the radiation box that is to be created separately for both substrate and as well as the patch. Is that so?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then I think Venkat, you got it clear, right? The radiation box that we create for individual layers. That is what he is pinpointing.
Okay. That I have to once again
I think you have to go revert back and
I have to refer,
read.
sir. I have
Sir,
to refer it.
otherwise, no problem, sir. If
Yeah,
you
you
are,
can, but you can find out that as part of the box. Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Venkat.
okay.
This you can as part of the procedure that the PDF is being shared. So you
Okay,
can
sir.
closely look into it. Otherwise, you can even post through the mail. Definitely, we'll have a helping hand.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. These are the by different values of probe location. We have obtained the results, sir. And I request you all please go through this tutorial. So step by step, detailed procedure is given in these tutorials. Okay, and how to create the slots, as the sir was asking earlier. How to create the slot in the patch structure. How to create how to insert inner square patch as a mushroom unit cell. A detailed step by step procedure is given in this particular tutorial, sir. Okay, sir. With this,
Okay,
I'm
sir.
closing my presentation, sir. If you have any doubts, sir, please ask me, sir, regarding this simulation part, sir.
Sir, one more doubt.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
in CPW, how to give ports, sir? Center one is positive. Parallel connector, this side, left side, and right side is negative ground, sir.
Yes, sir.
In that,
Yes, sir.
how to give that port, sir? One.
CPW feeding. Um,
I saw that more videos in YouTube, sir. That also not
so generally,
clearly.
they never mention all these things in YouTube.
Uh,
So they will not give you the simulation procedure and everything. Generally, tutorials may be available. PDF type files are available. Please go through the PDF files, and if possible, I will share the PDF related to CPW feeding. Okay, and from that you can get the how to connect CPW feeding mechanism, sir.
okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Last webinar also I saw that your video, sir. First that you are told that microstrip antenna to you end with metamaterial antenna. It is a very nice video, sir. That 1.5 hours lecture is very useful for me, sir. That is a very nice lecture, sir. Last and today also you are present there, sir. Morning. It's also very nice. I learned a lot, sir. For example, that I attended so many webinars. I don't know circle polarization, how to identify. From your lecture only, I understood clearly that two field are oriented in opposite 90-degree out of phase with the same amplitude. From your PPT animation only, I understand very clearly, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. And actually, this I have also worked a lot. I mean, I have gone through the YouTubes and everything, and downloading the HFSS tutorials, and with that only I have learned all these things, sir. And I'm suggesting you to please go through these PDF files, sir, once again, and definitely you will be able to design. You will come out with a good circularly polarized antenna, which can be published in IEEE transactions, sir. All the best, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, Sanjay Reddy, sir.
Mr. Arun Raj, I mean,
So,
what you said is right. Like, I mean, the intention of these AICT STTPs is only to give some guidance to the newcomers or who are under the performance of this kind of works. So, if most of them will get benefit, I think it will be definitely a useful program to everyone, whoever attend this program and get the best out of it. So that is what the objective is.
So please, please don't limit to this presentation, sir. Please do hard. Please
Yes,
do
yes.
work, sir. So then once you
Oh.
continue doing simulation, sir, and you will get habituated to it, and you can design your own antenna within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, sir. It depends upon how much time you are spending on the HFSS tool, sir.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
If you have any doubt, please contact me, sir.
Okay, so just to share your mail ID, sir. If any doubt means I am working in metamaterial only, sir. That's what from webinar only from webinar one only I understand, sir, how to draw that single unit cell for in HFSS, sir.
Okay, sir.
From this only I understood. I saw that more YouTube. That the YouTube is not clearly mentioned that metamaterial for in HFSS. From that only I understood both the metamaterial and fractal design, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. All the best, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, Sanjay Reddy, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Venkat, for
I once again
elaborately like clarifying the things. And if any other participants have got any questions you would like to directly ask, or you can post it in the chat window. And for the participants' sake, if you just type your mail ID in the chat box, I think that would be better, Dr. Venkat. Probably they will not disturb you very frequently, but occasionally, if you have any queries to be asked, so I think they can post it to you directly.
Please contact this mail ID, sir. vvr.ece.
Yeah, you can type it in the chat window. 1 second. VVR
at the kidsw.ac.in. So I have given in the chat box, sir. vvr.ec@kidsw.ac.in. I sincerely thank VVR management and Professor Ram Sanjay Reddy, sir, and Professor Pasha, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and as well as AICT for sponsoring these type of programs, which are very much useful to the newcomers into the research field, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Venkat. Thank you for your patient contribution towards this workshop, and shared your time in preparing those PDFs, and as well as some of the models, which definitely a helping hand to all of us, including me. So thank you very much. And for the participants, we have tomorrow in the morning, we have Professor Anjanil sir, Professor at NIT Warangal. So he will be addressing more detailed information on the metamaterials. So don't miss this class. So we meet exactly at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'm signing off for the day. Thank you, Dr. Venkat.
Thank you, sir.
I'll say see you again. Bye. And see you all the participants.